Hi, hello, and good morning, maybe. So I've been super obsessed with Dungeon Meshi lately. I haven't felt this passionate about a piece of media in a very long time, and it's kind of magical to experience this again after so long. In any case, Farcille has my whole heart. Like, they check off all of the boxes for tropes I love, okay? Best friends, friends to lovers, the fact that they would literally die for each other, and one of them did, although I know everyone loves that trope. Necromancy, and how it ties into the themes of fear, death, life cycle, and eating food. Them both being magic scholars and healers or clerics is a huge plus for me too. I always play healer characters. Anyway, I love both of them separately so much, and I feel like I could go on forever talking about them. I've also been obsessed with Disney my whole life, and I love Disney I use, so I feel like this video was almost necessary to make and not to be dramatic. I really struggled drawing all of this. I don't imagine this is a unique experience, but I never see people talk about it. I struggle so much with fan art sometimes. It feels like there's this pressure to make the characters, which, I'm not going to be all that familiar with because they aren't my OCs, look recognizably perfect with my own little tweaks, which also feels a bit odd to tweak things because I don't want to be rude and I love these character designs. I also feel like there's a pressure to keep their poses and expressions and outfits all in character. I don't even think I nailed Farcille that well here, but that's alright, She's just my favorite character right now, so I'll probably just be more picky about her. I feel like these two would suit so many different Disney couples for an AU, and I had a lot of fun playing around with the different themes from these movies, like transformation in The Little Mermaid and Fallen's arc, or necromancy in Snow White with Farcille. But I decided to stick to Sleeping Beauty for the first piece because I was just liking those vibes the most. I love in the movie how Philip goes to such lengths, literally breaking metal shackles with his fists and busting out of prison to save Aurora, but he would have failed if he didn't have the help of the three good fairies. As an aside, in this AU, Leos, Senshi, and Chilchek would be the three good fairies, and Izutsume would maybe be Farcille's horse. I didn't think too much on what her role would be though, but I just love thinking about these concepts. I may draw it eventually. Anyway, the imagery surrounding Fallen being the Sleeping Beauty and Aurora and Philip first meeting in the forest with Aurora picking flowers just feels so reminiscent of Fallen and Farcille connecting with each other in school over dungeons and dirt and nature. Writing this, I didn't double check it. Aurora may have been picking berries. I don't know, I haven't sat down and watched the movie in a while. The connections here with Fallen's death is also just too spot on for me, although Dungeon Meshi definitely goes off harder than Sleeping Beauty does. I love how gritty the gore is in Dungeon Meshi, yet it never feels excessive. I also just love how the characters can actually be human, and when a character dies, it is shown as painful. Their body decays, there's blood, it's messy. The female characters are allowed to make quote-unquote ugly or silly faces and feel rage, which I know isn't that rare these days. In older media it is, but it's still just so satisfying to see. I absolutely adore the movie Sleeping Beauty, especially because of the art. I'm not even going to get into that, but I feel half of me loves how whimsical some aspects of it are, including Aurora sleeping so gracefully when she is in her magically induced coma, but the other half just finds it a bit too silly because comas are the furthest thing from graceful and beautiful. If a character from Dungeon Meshi was in a coma, it would not look like that. Unrelated, but I also wanted to add that I think Sleeping Beauty suits them for an AU because Dungeon Meshi is a comedy, and the movie is so silly and funny. I really overlooked it and missed most of the jokes when I was a kid. I honestly think I thought Sleeping Beauty was a bit boring back then, but I love the humor now and how well it holds up, especially with Maleficent's interactions with her henchmen and the fairies bickering and slights between each other. In any case, here is the finished piece. For the second illustration, I had to go with the most obvious and borderline cop-out choice of a movie here, Tangled. Tangled changed my brain chemistry when I first watched it, for sure, and I think it defined a lot of my taste in aesthetics and tropes today. I feel like Disney reset their own standard for storytelling with this movie. A lot of the films from the Renaissance and even, before and after were masterpieces, but Tangled was just built different and really suits the modern era compared to the others, and it set the standard, I think, for modern Disney movies. I also think Tangled may avoid a lot of the anti-feminist discourse surrounding some of the older films because of this. On a side note, I will fight for movies like Cinderella and The Little Mermaid any day because they are feminist works and I love them. The bond and interactions between Rapunzel and Eugene are just top tier. I wish we had gotten to see more between Farcille and Falin before their separation, but Falin's haunting of the narrative and Farcille's longing is also so entertaining too. They're so happy and comfortable with each other in the bits we get to see with them, almost as if they are each other's home. I really get that vibe from Rapunzel and Eugene too, and it's just so sweet. On an individual character matching basis, if that wording makes sense, Falin was clearly Eugene to me because he not only dies and gets revived, he's also a thief, kind of like how Falin used to be part of the treasure hunting guild. Farcille suits Rapunzel well, I think, because she is so organized, studious, and passionate about her work. And I also think Farcille's early, almost naive mask before she reveals to the party that she studies ancient magic suits Rapunzel's overt naivete throughout the movie. Their silliness, despite the darkness therein, is also quite similar, I feel. I struggled a bit with this piece. I did so many sketches for it, trying to properly capture the emotion and movement that would be in this moment. I'm not sure how successful I was, but the emotion and flow is definitely better in this piece than in the first sketch I did. I feel like a little bit of a hypocrite too here, going on about how women are allowed to actually have quote-unquote ugly expressions, yet I made them both pretty here. But I also just wanted to capture the peace of the moment after the resurrection. At the end of the day, I'm just having a good time making some cute fan art. You know, it's not that serious. Super unrelated, but reading out the script just made me realize how much of a Jesus figure Falin is. Here's the finished piece. What do you think? Which AU do you prefer, and what story adjustments or character placements would you make in them? These questions are really just hypothetical, but feel free to talk about it in the comments if you'd like. I know shipping stuff can get dicey with discourse too, but please feel free to discuss Farcille in the comments as well. Whether you love or hate the pairing, I don't really care, you know? Discussion's good. I never know how to end these things, so I guess I'll just say thank you so much for watching.